back to the Artie Lange Show. My next guest, real talented guy, interesting guy. He's a comedian and a hypnotist. Rich Guzzy's his name. Go to richguzzy.com to get info. He's going to be at the Hartford Funny Bone this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Extreme show on Sunday. Snappers Comedy Club, Tampa, Florida, February 20th to the 22nd. Here's Rich Guzzy. What's up, buddy?
How's it going, guys?
Good. So let's get right to this. How do you learn how to be a hypnotist? You're a kid from Long Island, you said. How does this happen?
I hate to admit it, but I read a book.
Okay, so
it was that stupid. I read a book.
But you sound smart to me, because I couldn't learn how to do that from reading a book. I mean,
it's like yeah, you learn techniques from the book.
Right.
And you can probably knock out about 25% of the people just from those techniques.
What book?
It was just some 62-page book I read when I was like 15 years old.
Really?
But what happens is you start practicing and you start learning techniques by being, having a good memory and picking stuff up, and being kind of streetwise, being one of them characters.
What are the definite sort of key skills you need to be good at this? You got to know how to read people, I guess.
You got to be able to read them good.
Yeah.
You got to be able to have that authoritative type personality. Yeah. And you got to be fearless.
Almost like with a dog, like telling a dog what to do.
Yeah, you got to be fearless, because you got to go in there and you're remember you're opening up this guy's subconscious mind.
Right.
So you have to be able to go in there and start controlling that, and it's something you got to really you got to take him to the mat. Has
something ever happened that scared the living hell out of you? Like
no, actually,
where you go like we can't go backwards now. Or?
I've seen some crazy stuff happen, but I guess luckily that didn't happen early on. And I was already really trained. So I can give you an example. I'm working in Florida. Old dude's on stage, and he's dancing and singing and moving around a lot. Next thing you know, this guy starts like jumping, like bang, bang, and I'm like, what? Pacemaker starts going off.
Oh man!
Now next thing you know, boom, he's on the floor twitching.
Oh God, that's scary.
So luckily, I was already like 15 years deep, and I knew how to handle the situation from doing all the practicing.
What'd you do?
I took him out of hypnosis right away. I lowered his heart rate down, and he got back up to normal, and that was it. He was ready to rock, and I just took him off the stage, and his wife took him back.
Are there
to the audience.
Are there people, and if so, why is this, that just cannot be hypnotized?
If you fight it, it's real hard.
Right.
There's those analytical resistors. There's like maybe 10% of the public who is like those type A personality guys who just
say no way you can.
There's no way you can hypnotize me, right? Now, every hypnotist will tell you can't hypnotize somebody against their will, and you can't make them do something that's really out of their nature.
Right.
After doing it for 30 years, I figured out how to beat both of them. All right. So,
okay. So that's the key to it.
That really is the key. So what happens is, if you fight it, if you know I'm going to be hypnotizing you and you fight it, that's a next to impossible situation.
Right.
Because I can't sneak up on you. Right. But let's say you didn't know you were going to be hypnotized and you were still that type A personality guy, I would use a certain technique to get the guy out where he wouldn't even know what was happening to him. To give you the examples, let's say I know I want to hypnotize you, but you're that guy who's like not going to be hypnotized.
Right.
So you don't know you're going to be hypnotized. What I do is I would actually start talking to you, knowing that you're going to eavesdrop in on the conversation. And I would start talking to you. Meanwhile, I'm talking to you, but I'm really talking to him because I know he's listening. And I'm saying, yeah, and I'm giving you some words. And meanwhile, I'm like, yeah, you get, and I'm touching you on the shoulder, positive anchor all the time. Bang, bang, bang.
Okay.
And next thing you know, bang, I knock you out. You don't know what's even happening.
You know what's funny about me is I have that cynicism you're talking about, but I'm a fellow performer, and I so want to, like, cooperate with you as a guy who does this for a living. I would try to let myself go, but I'm definitely one of those people who thinks probably not, but I would want to try. I would try to have the most open mind. Are people just afraid you're going to get them to do something crazy? Right?
Yeah, a lot of times they think that they're going to do something stupid. That's or they're giving up control. That's the real one. For a guy who's a real type A analytical resistor type guy, he's worried that if it does work, all right, he's going, he's given up control now. Yes. Now his whole thought process of who he is now shot.
That's the key word. Control. People don't want to give up.
Right.
Control.
It's almost like the atheist, right, is actually almost the biggest believer in God there is. Because what happens is he's saying to himself, you know what? If God really exists, I'm totally screwed.
Exactly.
So you know what? I don't believe
it's
him. He's
all
not real.
Fear.
It's fear. Exactly. Is what it is.
Yeah, I'm very afraid. I'm afraid. It just seems like such a fragile thing. The unconscious mind. I don't want to like open mine up and have something go wrong where for the rest of my life I'm broken.
Well, what could go wrong? Like what specifically?
I don't know.
That's
the thing. I don't know. I'm fascinated by hypnotism, but I'm so afraid of it.
Well, the thing is, it is actually in the wrong hands. It could be dangerous. Yeah. All right, because if
I can imagine
somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, all right, can put one crazy word in there. And all of a sudden now it has to be taken out because they shouldn't be in there really.
So, but in other words, if you could put someone on hypnosis tonight, give them a crazy word. If you don't properly take them out of it for the rest of their life, if they hear that word, will they go under?
No, it's not even that. It's in other words, see, what's the subconscious mind on? What you're really supposed to do with it is like get people to quit smoking, lose the weight, reduce stress in their life. We're doing it as a funny show, and that's what it's all about.
Right.
But the show is only used as a demonstration of what you can do with it, because it takes a very deep level to get them on stage to do that stuff. You got to get them to hallucinate. You got to get them so deep where they're jumping around like monkeys. They're doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Where therapeutic work, if I want to get you to quit smoking, little light level of hypnosis, boom, I can put the words in there, and you're all set. You're ready to rock.
Do you do that too, or do you just do it for comedy?
No.
So part of your living you make is to get people to quit smoking.
Well, that's the show. What I'm really trying to do is get hypnosis on the map. Really, it's been way harder than I thought it was going to be. I really thought it was going to be easy. You're going to become famous. You're going to get it done.
Right.
And meanwhile, here I'm cracking away 30 years later, and there's such a stigma attached to it that we can't get it done. If I was to go do hypnosis demonstrations around the country, they'd be throwing rocks at me. Because everybody's like, this guy's out of his mind. Yeah. When you do it in a comedy setting, it's very non-threatening.
Yeah.
And now I do the shows, and I see a couple thousand people a week. What happens is I'm introducing a product to somebody that normally wouldn't be taking it because they go to a comedy show, and then they say, "Man, this guy just hypnotized all these people." Man, and all of a sudden, I do a good energy affirmation at the end of the show. People start feeling good. It's more of an experience. Then they get them to lose weight and reduce the stress in their life, quit smoking. And after the show, there's a big line of people who all want to, get involved. And that's how we spread the message.
Have you successfully gotten people to stop smoking?
Yeah, like, thousands of people.
Thousands of people.
Thousands of people. Yeah.
Now, what do you do? You say you give them words. Like, what do you mean? Like, how does that happen?
In other words, your conscious mind right now, 15 cycles per second. That's how fast your brain is cycling now as we're talking. When you're sleeping, it's like 10, so it's gone down a lot slower. REM is like 9, it's a deep sleep. Hypnosis is like 4 or 5 cycles per second. So what's happening is when I'm hypnotizing you, I'm bringing your cycles of your brain down very, very slow. So at that point, I can start dumping a lot of information in there very quickly.
Right.
So it's like almost like, you got a car driving like 70 miles an hour down the road. You got a football, try to throw it in the window, right? You're going to hit the windshield, hit the hood, whatever. You're going to miss a lot of times, right? Because you're going by too fast. If I slow the car down to 1 mile an hour, boom, you could chuck the football right in there because you can nice and slow. It's going nice and easy. I dump the information in there. So what you do is you slow the brain cycles down. Now you're in that hypnotic state. At that point, then I start putting the information in there that you're going to act upon to make your life better.
And they retain the information.
Exactly. Because now it's in the subconscious mind instead of the conscious mind. Now, the best example I can give you, every person who needs to lose weight knows exactly how to do it.
Right.
All right? You got to eat better food.
Exactly.
You got to exercise a little more.
It's no secret.
Right, exactly. Right? It's not that big a deal. We all know that. So what happens is if you're consciously thinking how to do it, you're not going to act upon it. But subconsciously, where all the power comes in, like you always hear you only use 10% of your mind. You only use 10% of your conscious mind. Mm-hmm. Use 100% of your subconscious mind. Once that's turned on, the information is what you're going to act upon. Right. So what I'll do is I'll put the subconscious mind on first through hypnosis, and then dump information in there that you're going to act upon to make your life better. So you want to lose weight. What I'll do is I'll give you information on how you're going to, act upon losing weight. And I always use 4 different motivating factors, which we all have: self-preservation, money, romance, or recognition. Those are the only thing you do anything for.
Right.
Now, we all have all 4 of those, but we're all predominantly one. So what I'll do is, not knowing the person a lot of times, because I couldn't pre-interview them, I'll say I'm doing a bunch of people at the same time, I'll hit you with all 4. So let's say I'm going to get you to quit smoking. What I would do is I would hit, like, say, all right, self-preservation. All right, so if you quit smoking, you're going to live longer.
You're not going to die, right?
You're not going to die because it kills you, right? Money would be like, all right, $10 a pack, all right, over the course of a year, $3,600 over the course of 10 years, $36,000 plus interest, all right? Let's take the next one, romance. All right, so now, by quitting smoking, your breath's going to smell better, clothes not, nice and fresh.
You won't look as cool, but
right, more romantically attractive, right? Recognition would be like, millions of people try to quit smoking every year. They all failed. Guess what? You're the one guy who did make it. You'll be able to put it in everybody's face. Hey, I quit. You guys couldn't do it. Right. All right, and then those 4 motivating factors.
So you try to attack all those things.
Yes, and then what happens is then the guy acts upon it, and he doesn't smoke anymore.
When you're hypnotized, do you, when you come out of it, you just like essentially like in a blackout, you remember what happened, you just lose that time in your head?
80% of the people remember nothing. They come out an hour and a half later after the show's over, like, all right, when are you going to start the show?
An hour and a half you keep them under?
An hour and a half under, yeah.
Wow.
Which is equal to like 9 hours of sleep, because like 15 minutes equals 2 hours of sleep. That's how good it feels. When you come out of hypnosis, it feels like somebody massaged you for 2 hours.
Really?
That's why I don't understand how everybody doesn't use it, because that's how good it feels.
Right.
It's actually a euphoric feeling when you come out. So 80% of the people remember absolutely nothing. They come out and they're like, all right, when are you going to start their show? And then 20% of people remember some stuff, but they can't remember what they did.
See, that's what I'm afraid. That's what I'm afraid of, not remembering what I did. Like not remembering I gave oral sex to a hypnotist. I don't want to forget that I gave oral sex to Rich Guzzy on a cruise ship. No, not that you've ever done it, but I'm just saying a lot of people, that's an extreme joking example, but a lot of people are afraid, what are you making me do here?
Exactly. But that's what's cool about it is it's happening in front of 300, 400, 500 people.
Right.
So it's all good. You got your friends up, your friends are in the audience watching you. So it's like a real non-threatening situation.
But when people go to quit smoking, it can be on a one-on-one.
It can be on one-on-one situation.
That's
yes.
scary.
Yes, it is. It is, and that's why I have a hypnotic program. You listen to it, you do it in privacy in your own home. You don't have to give control to anybody else. You listen to it, it knocks you out. Plus, you could do it 28 days in a row, which is even better.
So just listening to a tape or something?
Yeah, you listen to a CD, it'll knock you right out.
Really?
Yeah, because it'll guide you right through. It's like a guided meditation.
So it's more like meditation.
Yeah, exactly. Hypnosis is like a really deep state of meditation.
See, in rehab, I've tried to meditate, and it's never worked. I can tell you to concentrate on this. I can't turn my. And it's not that I'm being cynical. It's just that, like,
you got the racing mind syndrome.
Yeah. And the times I've tried it, I was in rehab where I had all this wreckage outside of my life that I knew I had to get back to, and all these worries, and I couldn't turn that off. And see, I should try meditation now in my life where I'm a little more at peace and maybe could do it,
Well, also, I mean, a good hypnotist can probably focus your mind someplace else at the same time. So, like, there's a lot of different inductions you can do on people. So you could do a progressive relaxation induction, which is a lot of the ones I do, like, at a comedy show. Because you're doing 15 people at the same time. To do one-on-one, even though if I can knock somebody out in 30 seconds, if you do 30 seconds over 15 people, it's still going to be like 7 and change minutes.
Right.
It'd be easier for me to do a progressive relaxation induction where you're doing 15 people at the same time and take 3-4 minutes to do it and bring them all down. So you're bringing them from 15 cycles per second down to 4, little at a time, and drag them all down.
Wow.
Now, there's another way to do it. What you can do is you can make the guy's brain go hyper alert. So in other words, you're at 15 cycles per second now, which we're talking normally. If we start like getting into a heated situation, might drag you up to 20. If we start yelling or I got you really confused, got your brain doing a lot of different functions at the same time, I might bring you up to 25 cycles per second. So what happens at that point, I drag your brain up really, really high like this, and all of a sudden I do one command after your brain is trying to do too many different things at the same time, and all of a sudden, bang, I drag you out, and it brings you all the way down all in one shot.
Wow.
That would be a rapid induction.
Yeah.
So that would be a technique I'd probably use on somebody like yourself because you got a lot of different things going on, and that would make your brain start doing so many different functions all at the same time and basically overload your hard drive, and all of a sudden, boom, make it crash.
John, what do you feel about this? I mean, it sounds logical. If the guy, if someone knows how to do it.
It's frightening to me. What happens if someone's listening to the tape or the CD one, and they're in the middle of a deep hypnosis,
Hypnotic,
and then the power goes out.
Right, right. Now that's a very valid question. Big fear. One of the big questions that people ask all the time. All right, so what happens? Can I get stuck in hypnosis? All right, so it can't be like Office Space or Shallow Hal, something like that. So let's say I was to hypnotize you and just leave the room. All right, John, that's it. Hey, hypnotize me. He's drooling all over yourself, and I cut out. Well, what happened is the control voice is now gone. And within 15 minutes, tops, you'd fall into regular sleep and then come out of it automatically by yourself.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you fall back into regular
sleep, and then you come out, because your brain will start cycling up higher, and then you come out all of a sudden by yourself.
Boschetti, what do you think of this? Do you think you're capable of, are you too cynical to be hypnotized?
I'm a little scared after hearing all this. I'm a little nervous about it.
Well, I mean, we're in a controlled environment. It's television. We're not going to get you to do anything too crazy.
Plus, again, the stuff, the benefits you get from it, so far outweigh the goofiness that you do.
Yeah. What about me and Mike trying to lose weight? You think you get Mike to drop a couple?
There's not a problem with that. That's a real solid goal that you can do, no problem.
Mike, what about that?
Wow.
It sounds great.
Yeah. In fact, I brought you guys a bunch of programs too, because I've kind of figured that's what you'd be looking for. Yeah. So I'm a big fan of the show. So
thanks. You kind of figured me and Mike would go for the weight loss.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good point.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Listen, I'm good at reading people. I'm
not arguing with you.
So I know what people can use.
Right.
And I brought everything with me because listen, my thing is I love to help people. I want to show that this stuff is legit and real. And there's never been really a famous hypnotist yet. There's guys who got some notoriety, but there's never been that household name hypnotist guy walking the street. Hey, look, there's the hypnotizing guy.
Right.
There's never been one of those guys yet because I live in California, and the business. There wasn't a week that went by that some guy was putting his arm around me. Hey, man, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. How come you're not famous yet?
Right.
All right. And then all of a sudden, here's my card. All right, you call me on Monday. All right, so I give the guy a call on Monday, and all of a sudden now he talks to the powers that be, And they saw him, hypnotizing guy. What are you, crazy? You can't do it. What are you going to do with this guy? This is ridiculous.
I
That's
can't
not
get him
even
on
real.
the phone.
And they can't get him on the phone anymore.
Right.
This has been going on for like 15, 20 years now. And I'm like, man, here I am. I'm 50 years old now. I got to try to see what am I going to do? How am I really going to make this a part of people's lives? People are giving up the most powerful tool they have available to make their life better.
Well, it sounds. I mean, listen, if everything you're saying sounds legit and nice. I mean, we have the twins. I don't know where they are.
One backed out already.
If I can get 9 hours of
Marie
sleep.
backed out. I don't know if Liz
You
is going to
see,
do
that's what I'm saying.
Liz, come out here.
There's such a stigma attached to it that people get scared.
A lot of the concerns I keep hearing from people that we keep trying to ask on the staff to do it is that they're afraid that they're going to maybe confess or say something that
They think deep dark secrets are going to come out.
Liz, now, are you willing to do this?
I'm not worried about confessing or anything like that, but after hearing about what the guy passed out or something, he had a seizure.
A seizure?
Oh,
You
it's
didn't-
pacemaker.
Oh no, that was like
Pacemaker
an old guy with a pacemaker.
I don't want
Yeah,
to
he
do
had
it.
a pacemaker.
I know
It's too scary.
Liz?
I mean, I'll try it.
All right. Mike?
You see what I'm saying? That's
I'm starting to
It
get worried
sounds kind
now.
of scary.
All right, Mike will
though.
do it too. This is
What
good.
are you gonna do when we're out potentially? I mean, what's the plan then? Are you gonna implant weight loss in Mike and
yeah, absolutely.
That's good.
what? I mean, what else can you do?
Whatever you would like.
Whatever suggestions.
Yeah.
All right. Well, during the break, Mike and Liz will try it. And, all right?
All right.
So you have to do this during the break, though, right?
Yeah, if we do it on air, what could potentially happen, and logistically, they don't want you to do it on air. What happens is 1 in 10 is. Remember we said 1 in 10 was a bad subject?
Yeah.
Well, 1 in 10 is a great subject.
Okay.
All right. So what happens is somebody's watching it at home, somebody driving in the car, they listen to it. All of a sudden, they're a great subject. Or maybe they've been to my show before. All right. Next thing you know, boom, they get knocked out driving the car.
Really?
While I'm doing a full
You
induction.
don't want that. All
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
So we're going to take a break, and we'll.
That happens, more than you would think.
Whoever wants to give it a shot, we'll give it a shot. All right?
Yeah.
Rich Guzzy, richguzzy.com. Back after this with some Hypnotize.
The Artie Lange Show, weeknights on Audience, only on DirecTV.